Hey sewing friends, so I wanted to share with you a book that I checked out at the library called Refashioned. Now this is a really high-end, kind of high-style book with lots of creative and unbelievable things that you can refashion. I pulled out a couple of the most wearable ones and a couple of patterns that I just recently purchased to try to create some looks from this book using some sewing patterns that I have. I think when you check out a book like this, it's super arty. You're not going to necessarily get like how-to information, but it's good inspiration, so I want to share that. The first project I want to share is this designer's use of technical fabrics and upcycling those technical fabrics into new garments. So this is a pretty straightforward upcycle. You're taking one technical garment, an outer piece of outerwear, and turning it into something else. And so for that, I actually am going to be using this sewing pattern right here. So let me zoom in and show you. So this sewing pattern is a Nomi pattern, and it's got this great wrap here. You can see right there. It's got this great wrap in like a puffy fabric with sleeve holes. And you can see she's got it in her hand down here at the bottom, like that. Now I'm probably going to add a zipper or some sort of closure on that so that it actually stays on like a vest. But I'm inspired by some of the technical fabric upcycles in this piece here, particularly this puffy jacket in the middle. So that's going to be one of my pieces. Now the next one that I'm inspired by is this blanket coat. Look at that. So what the designer has done is taken a blanket, added some sleeves in a cape shape, and added contrasting color. And I pulled out one of my patterns that I got in the winter. See that right there? Dead ringer. So I can definitely see adding some wool accents, maybe using a blanket, something from the thrift store, that sort of thing, to create this cape look here out of that. So that's my inspiration. So you've got inspo here. And then you've got sewing pattern. Which direction am I going here? Sewing pattern here. So you definitely get the same vibe. So you can take existing sewing patterns and think about ways that you can upcycle. So one of the things that I looked at with both of these patterns is the fact that this is taking a garment, using something that I already have and creating something. Now mine's in a chocolate brown. It's not in this cream color. It's in a chocolate brown, which I think will look really cool with a cream and gray dress. And so that's definitely something inspired by. And speaking of this dress, let me show you another inspiration from this book. This dress right here. It's got the same kind of vibe, very angular, long sleeve, higher neckline, long column dress. And I think that's definitely something that I like for this look here. This is a great winter dress. I'm always on the hunt for a good winter dress because it's really hard to find dresses that you can wear when it's really cold out, and this is exactly one of those. So it's got, you know, some color blocking, a high neckline, and it goes all the way down to the floor. And she's showing wearing it with boots, which absolutely, you're going to definitely be wanting to do that in the wintertime. So this is a great winter option, and you can do that with a lot of your other sewing patterns. So I picked up some other sewing patterns recently, and these ones are also a great use of scrap and other upcycled materials. So you could see this adding denim, adding different color fabrics from your stash, from your scrap stash, that sort of thing. So definitely keeping in mind how you can upcycle the things that you already have into new garments, but using the sewing patterns you have. You see a lot of upcyclers who are doing their own thing. They're taking a hoodie and they're putting some designs on it, and then they're going out in the world with that. But for a lot of us, starting with our sewing patterns is a really smart idea. So those are two from this book, and this book is called Refashioned. I got this check this out from my library. It's a very arty book, so there's a lot of really crazy things in here that probably wouldn't necessarily be something that you would make yourself, like Exhibit A, but are really inspirational, like how can you turn something into something else. So that's really the inspiration I'm taking away from this. And I picked out a couple of the most wearable things out of this that I thought were definitely the ones that were most useful. Because I mean, there's some really crazy stuff in here, and definitely here's some couple of cool things here. But it's definitely a really cool book and worthy of inspiration. So that's Refashioned. I'm going to turn this into my library here pretty soon. I'm going to take some photos of the pages that I really like for my inspiration, and I'm going to put them together with my sewing patterns, and I'm going to make something that's completely refashioned, but using the patterns that I already have.